born in Madison, Wisconsin. He was educated at Yale and Princeton. He was born in 1897 and he died in 1975. He's mostly known for the book we're reading, Our Town, which is a play about, I'll talk about that later, but he won multiple prizes for it, like the National Book Award and the Pulitzer Prize and the something else, the Skin of Our Teeth Prize, which is not a prize, it's a book. I was just testing and see if you were ready for that. His most known play is Our Town. It's performed at least one time every day in one country. Thornton Wilder, he died of leukemia. On April 17, 1997, the cemetery of his birth, the U.S. Postal Service unveiled the Thornton Wilder 32-cent stamp, so he has his own stamp. And he's finna walk through the camera, so go ahead. So the plot of Our Town is about a play within a play. A flashback into a flashback. It's a book about Emily Webb and somebody named George Gibbs.
Alright. Dr. Gibbs is George Gibbs' father, and he's the only doctor in the town. He's also a Civil War expert, and his delivery of twins just before the play opens established the theme of the birth, life, and daily activity. Miss Gibbs, that's George's wife. George's mom and Dr. Gibbs' wife. She really wants to go to Paris, and she sold furniture for $350 to basically achieve her goal of going to Paris. Mr. Webb is Emily Webb's father, and the publisher and editor of the Grover's Corners Sentinel. Mr. Webb's report to the audience in Act 1 is both informative and interactive. As this question and answer session draws the audience to physically into action of the play. Mrs. Webb is Emily Webb's mom and Mr. Webb's wife. Miss Webb shows that she's innocent and a caring nature, worrying during the wedding that she has not taught her daughter enough about marriage because her daughter doesn't really deal with boys like that now, even though she's in high school. Miss Somers is a gossipy woman who sings in the choir along with Miss Webb and Miss Gibbs. Miss Somers appears in a group of dead souls in Act 3. One of the few townspeople we meet outside of the Webb and Gibbs families is Miss Somers. Offers a sense of the interrelated nature of the lives of the citizens of Grover's Corner. Simon Stimson, the choir master, whose alcoholism and undisclosed troubles have been the subject of gossip in Grover's Corner for quite some time. While Wilder uses Mr. Stimmons' misfortunes to explore the limitations of a small town life, Mr. Simpson appears in a group of dead souls in Act 3, having committed suicide by hanging himself in the attic. He is perhaps the most notable for his short speech in Act 3, when he says that human existence is nothing but ignorance and blindness. Rebecca Gibbs is George's younger sister. Rebecca's role is minor, but she does not have one very significant scene with her brother. Her remarks in Act 1 about the location of Grover's Corner in the universe articulate an important theme in the play.
Our Town is written by Thornton Wilder, a play in the McDowell County in Peterborough, New Hampshire. The play Our Town had its first premiere on January 1938 in Princeton, New Jersey at the McCarter Theater. Then its next premiere was in Henry Miller's Theater, New York, February 4th, 1939. And then Rockesall Theater. In 1946, the Soviet Union prevented the production in occupied Germany of Berlin, thinking it would start a German suicide wave.
The theme is basically the realization that the human life is precious in it because it is fleeting. This basically resolves around Emily, but is based off of Dr. Gibbs at the beginning of the play, when he delivers the two twins. Basically, the play is about beauty, life, and daily action.
The summary of Act 1, it starts as the stage is empty without curtains or scenery. The stage manager enters and places some chairs down. After lights go out, the stage manager introduces the play and he describes the town. At dawn, Doc Gibbs returns from delivering twins and Mr. Gibbs comes downstairs to prepare breakfast. The stage manager mentions the manner in which Dr. and Miss Gibbs will die. Actors begin to appear and a bunch of random actions happen. The stage manager explains how the newspaper boy got a scholarship at MIT and is going to be a good engineer, but he's going to die in World War I. Both main families do their morning routines, then the kids go to school. George and Emily come back from school and do schoolwork, and then the stage manager announces the end of the first act. Alright, Act 2 summary is stage manager announces that it has jumped 3 years ahead. 2 of the children are now getting married and they are ready for the wedding. The stage manager flashes back when Emily and George's relationship first started and the wedding is over and the act ends. Act 3 summary, the next act starts 9 years later. The stage manager explains all the changes that happened in the town. The stage manager points out earlier deaths. They go over people's deaths. They go back to when George and Emily were back in school. Emily goes back and relives her life. Emily goes back to the afterlife, and that's the end of the play. The book is important because Thornton Wilder, the author, explains the importance of human life through a play and how humans don't appreciate life.
What our group learned about this book is that we should value human life, and life is really precious, and just basically don't worry about anything and just live your life.
Now we're going to act out a scene from the book.
We chose a scene from Act 1, and it was about Dr. Gibbs sitting down with his son, George, and talking to him about if he's not gonna help his mom out around with chores and all the simple little things, then there's no point in him taking on his uncle's farm. And we chose this because it's basically on how if you want to do something big, then you have to do the little things. And if you can't do the little things, why would you want to do something that's big?
Oh, George, can you come down a minute?
Yes, Paul.
Make yourself comfortable, George. I only keep you a minute. George, how old are you?
I'm 16, almost 17.
What do you want to do after school is over?
Why, you know, Paul, I want to be a farmer on Uncle Luke's farm.
You'll be will you to get up early and milk and feed the stock, and you'll be able to hoe and hay all day.
Sure, I will. What do you mean, Paul?
Well, George, while I was in my office today, I heard a funny second. And what do you think it was? It was your mother chopping wood. There you see your mother getting up early, cooking meals all day, washing and ironing. And still, she has to go out the backyard and chop wood. I suppose she just got tired of asking you. She just gave up and decided it was easier to do it herself. And you eat her meals and put on the clothes she keeps nice for you and run off and play baseball like she's some hired girl we keep around the house but that we don't like very much. Well, I knew all I had to do was call your attention to it. Here's a handkerchief, son. George, I've decided to raise your spending money 25 cents a week. Not, of course, for chopping wood for your mother, because that's a present you give her, but because you're getting older, and I imagine there are lots of things you must find to do with it.
Thanks, Paul.
Our Town is a play written by Thorold Wilder in the McDowell County in Peterborough.